okay, back to work. In reviewing the game, really good finish in the last play, playing with great effort on the 2-point play. I kind of probably saw some of my frustration in the post-game, interview. Just, that was an accumulation of the second half, how we played on defense, and, it felt so much progress, in the off-season, spring, fall, through a number of games. And that second half kind of had that same feeling as a year ago. So, that's maybe why it wasn't as great as feeling, as maybe you expected. But, we can't overlook, because one play at the end of the game goes your way that we see all the time, last second field goal goes in or out, and all of a sudden one team's figured everything out and program's on the rise, and the other team, doesn't know how to win. So we got a lot of work to do. And getting ready for a challenging place to play. That someone said on the way in, is on schedule to be their first sellout in years. So very loud place, especially at night, and a team that's playing extremely well. 2 conference blowouts in a row, and lightening up on offense. So this is going to be extremely challenging.
Lane, I'm curious, you've got a lot of guys on defense, I say a lot, a handful that are playing 80 snaps or more on Saturday. How big of a concern is that moving forward, and how close do you feel like you are to maybe having enough depth to alleviate that?
Well, that it was not good. A lot of guys played in the 70s and some 80s, which is not good no matter what, especially against the tempo. And when you're on tempo, so there's not a lot of delay between series. And we were a little bit big little after the, first couple of drives of the game, on some quick scores. So, we got to play more guys. Guys have to give us confidence that, when they play well, because we wore down, and, that was evident.
Lane, after you guys watched the film, did your perspective on what you saw live on the defense change at all? And are there things that can be quick fixes this week before playing Tennessee Saturday night?
Well, yeah, I think the effort on the last play, on the 2-point play was really good, and we played the play right. Same play earlier that, they'd scored on, and we'd let a guy go. I'm supposed to cover you, and I don't. So that was good, but I felt like during the game and watching it, it was what we do on the other side, and what their system does with Kendall Browse. A lot of first downs, 37 first downs or something, and not getting off the field. And then with that tempo, guys wear down, and guys do not look the same later in the game on defense as they did early. And I think that happened on both sides. But so there's 2 keys to play. One's to play more players, but the most important one, get off the field on 3rd and 4th down, and then those drives don't keep going.
Post game, I know you brought up Jake Springer as kind of being a key to the defense kind of getting it together. What is it specifically about him and what he does? Is it his skill set? Is it what is it specifically that kind of helps him bring the defense together when he's there?
Well, he's very physical. Great mentality about himself, which I think carries off onto other guys. And when he hasn't played, we've had to move people instead of just 1-for-1, move where people played. So we have people playing, like Otis is playing a different position than he usually plays. So, that's been an issue.
What have you seen from Tennessee's offense these last 2 games that kind of allowed them to explode and kind of put up the points they have?
What we've seen for years, at UCF, running the ball really well with tempo and then hitting big plays outside. So we've seen it, we've lived it, FAU on our side and playing against them, and, on offense here.
You kind of did hit on it, but what are the similarities between what y'all do and what they do?
I mean, a ton, the tempo aspect of it, how that's managed and practiced, and how receivers play positions and get the ball right, all that stuff is the same. we've moved a little bit from, where they're at with different plays, just like they have with us. But the base system, not necessarily the routes, but the base system of how it's practiced, run, efficient in the game is the same, which is the same as what we just played last week.
Coach, with the difficulties your defense has faced the last 2 weeks in the 3-2-6, is there any plans maybe of changing schematically formations, 4-3, 3-4, 4-2-5, anything, just to become more multiple?
Sure, we can do that. You got 10 games to watch last year of us doing it. So we saw how that worked. But we made a change, and that's a very fair question because when it doesn't work, people just like fourth downs. So, we made a change to it. We know it works. We've seen it work for us. We've definitely seen it work for other people. I mean, Arkansas coming into last week was giving up for us, 17 points a game and 270 yards or something. So, it works when you do it right. But you got to get off the field on third down. We got to play more players, and we got to tackle. It doesn't matter. Same as last year. We're in a different scheme, but if we don't tackle, it don't matter where the people are. And that showed up.
Follow-up question. Do you feel like in the 3-2-6 that you have the nose guard that you need to be able to run that defense?
Well, we always want to continue to improve. KD has done a good job in there. Has gotten more snaps lately and has gotten healthy. Obviously the system's better, like any 3-4 system, whether it's odd or odd tight, if you have a big dominant nose. So, we're always trying to get better.
I know it's been 12 years or so, but obviously a history with Tennessee. Does this game mean anything different to you, and what kind of reception are you expecting there?
Yeah, I would think that you would think that, and would probably normally be the case. But there's two things here. One, that's a long time ago, and two, like we've done this thing, since USC have gone and played against USC, have played against Tennessee, have played against Alabama. So it's not like, hey, all of a sudden you're going back to a place you used to coach to. And again, went there twice at Alabama. Awesome place. I said it on some article last week about houses and where you lived. And they asked what was your, favorite house and where you lived. And I said the house in Knoxville, and they said why? I said, well, it's a great house and a great setup with the river, but the people, really enjoyed people there, still in contact, with a number of them. And we'll see some of them, Saturday.
Anywhere in Knoxville you want to visit that you kind of been missing?
Yeah, that won't happen. I don't think that's probably, a good idea.
You have an update on Jerion?
We hope that he plays. Credit to the offensive players that stepped up, to score 50 points against, what I consider a really good defense with good players, good scheme. It's on film from, happening, and 3 starters out, was big. And the quarterback, we tried to have a theme of throwing yourself into every play with everything that you got, in the game last week in all 3 phases. And there's not a better example than that than the quarterback. I mean, he's running people over, getting kicked in the face, and just keeps on going at 208 pounds, It's crazy.
And from what you've seen so far, what's kind of stood out about Tennessee's defense?
Very multiple, fast players, different scheme than what we're used to seeing in practice. A lot more 4 down, which presents us a lot of challenges because we haven't played much of it, nor do we play it in practice. So this is very challenging for us because of the way they play the front and all the single high that they play.